The thing about video games is there's always a little bit of jealousy here or there. There's always someone who kind of takes things negatively or whatever, and that seems to be the case when it comes to like some of the things that Xbox does. When it comes to some of the things that PlayStation does, it's always weird to me because, in my opinion, Xbox is doing things in a different way than some of the other studios or other companies have done them in the past, and people look at that strangely, right? Like if like for example, I think I put my shoes and socks on in the proper way for me, but other people, when they hear about the way that I do that, look at me like it's the strangest thing in the world, where I put on one sock and then one shoe, then the other sock and the other shoe. Most people, I believe, put on the socks first and then the shoes. But if you've already got a sock on a foot, you might as well put the shoe on there too, right? Work harder, not smarter, according to some people anyway. But anyway, this is one of those pieces of things that makes, I think, PlayStation fans incredibly jealous. And, again, I think that this is hilarious the way that this worked out. So this is funny. So Toys for Bob, the developer behind the revival of Crash Bandicoot and the Spyro Reignited trilogy, have now started talking about messages and their love for Xbox and how excited they are for the new chapter under the Xbox banner. The same studio released its new Crash Team Rumble earlier in the year on multiple platforms, including Xbox, and more recently it announced Season 3 of the addictive team-based game would be adding Spyro when it launches on December 7th. They said, and I quote, "As we approach the holidays and look to an exciting new chapter ahead with Team Xbox, we wanted to pause and share a moment of gratitude, getting together to celebrate the launch of Crash Team Rumble earlier this year with our friends of Activision." So if you haven't tried it out yet, it's worth a look. It's getting pretty decent reviews. Kind of can be addictive online arena battler. Apart from Toys for Bob, Activision Blizzard means that it now owns Beanox as well. But anyway, Toys for Bob did a really, really, really good job with the Crash Bandicoot 4 game, and also I believe they were the ones behind the Crash Bandicoot remakes, the trilogy. I believe they were, but Crash Bandicoot 4, in my opinion, is probably the best Crash Bandicoot game that I've ever played. And I know people might look at that as heresy or whatever, but just from a design perspective and a fun factor, it's just well above what some of these other ones are. So I gotta say, man, it's just, to me anyway, the original Crash Bandicoot games are good, but unfortunately we live in a time where the games were a product of that era, if you understand what I'm saying. So what I mean by that is, while they are good games, they're a product of that era, and I don't think that they hold up as well. Although they're not terrible by any means, I don't think they're as good as like the current games and things like that. But a lot of people on the Xbox side are asking to allow Toys for Bob to remake, some games for Xbox, right? Like what they want to see is something like a Conquer. I could definitely see Toys for Bob doing a Conquer remake. I could definitely see Toys for Bob doing a remake of Banjo-Kazooie, something along those lines. I think that would be phenomenal if they could go out there and do that, because that probably wouldn't be very expensive, A, and B, it could be a reintroduction to those franchises for someone. Like, you have to remember, I know not everybody realizes this, but stuff like Conquer came out 20 years ago almost. The Live and Reloaded even longer, when it was on the Nintendo 64. So we kind of live in that day and age where things like that could definitely get a reintroduction to fans and find new fans and things like that. And if they found enough fans, that's the point where you could get a sequel or something along those lines. So I think that's probably the hope, in my opinion, behind that. But yeah, they really nailed it, and it's nice to see. I mean, you might go, hey, crap, well, honestly, what do you expect them to say, right? And that's a fair point. What would you expect them to say? Would you expect them to come out and hate on their new bosses and things like that? No, I wouldn't expect that, but you like to see that, and it did kind of evoke a lot of hate from the industry, and also a lot of hate from like the the PlayStation fans and things like that. So yeah, nice to see that happen. And everybody is starting to get excited again about Xbox, and we're starting to see why people enjoy Xbox in the first place. So I love seeing that. And again, that's part of the fun of this whole thing. I mean, in an industry where there's so much negativity, it seems lately, it's nice to see some of the positivity kind of come out as well. And again, I expect there to be sort of an Xbox tax on anything that Microsoft does, but at the same time, it's one of those things that realistically, I think all of us are kind of looking at and going, hey, you know what? This is definitely, an exciting time for Xbox fans. Seeing that we could get these games that are traditionally PlayStation or PlayStation Studios or whatever. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I would love to just hear your guys' thoughts on this, though. I think that's the real kind of meat and potatoes into the question. What do you guys think about this? What do you guys feel about Microsoft going out there and doing this and just kind of getting things going in a way that fans can be proud of? I would love to see that happening. So it really kind of comes down to kind of what the fans are excited about. I would love to see gamers kind of love to kind of back this and say, hey, good job, Microsoft. Can we get, Toys for Bob doing this or this? I think that's what most people would want to see. So, Microsoft, they still have a long way to go, but I think they're on the right path, indeed. So, with that being said, let me know what you guys think, because like I said, it really kind of comes down to the fans and how fans kind of react to this kind of news and stuff like that. For me, I think, like I said, it really kind of comes down to what everybody thinks in terms of the content itself. What do you want to see them do? Because I feel like you have to let them kind of do their own thing, whether that's something for Xbox or whether that's continuing Crash Bandicoot or doing something new in that genre. I think that really kind of is on them to see if that can happen. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents. I would like to see them do something and revive, some of the dormant, cartoony type platformers that Xbox has, but, that's me personally. So, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Crap Gamer. This has been Crap Gamer Reviews. Rack 'em up. Please leave a like if you wouldn't mind. Crap Gamer out.